Today, what we have is no longer rumor, but official Bridgerton Season 5 details shared directly by Netflix through Tudum. And honestly, this season looks like a truly historic turning point for the series. Because it has now been officially confirmed that Francesca and Michaela will be the central love story of the new season. Filming has been announced as underway, the story's 2-year time jump has been made clear, and most importantly, Bridgerton is preparing for the first time to center itself completely around this relationship in a romance that looks different, much more emotional, and much bolder. And the statements we got are not just telling us who the leads are. They also make it very clear that the tone of this season will be big-time yearning, meaning it will be shaped by longing, repressed emotions, and inner conflict. So in this video, let's take a look together at all the major details Netflix has officially revealed. Number 1. Francesca and Michaela are officially the main love story of Season 5. The biggest question mark surrounding Bridgerton, Season 5 is now gone. According to the official information Netflix shared through Tudum, the new season will center on Francesca Stirling and Michaela Stirling. So for the first time, the show is building its main romantic story entirely around this pairing. And that does not just make Season 5 another new season. It also makes it a major turning point for the Bridgerton universe. What makes this development even more important is that this will be the show's first central queer love story. Showrunner Jess Brownell specifically emphasizes that point and openly says this season holds a very special place for Bridgerton. Because up until now, we have seen different relationships and different character dynamics in the series, but for the first time, we are going to watch an entire season built fully around this kind of love story. And that means a huge shift both in storytelling and in representation. Hannah Dodd and Masali Baduza also said in their interviews that they are both very excited to be moving into the center of the season, while also fully understanding the weight of what that means. Both of them stress how important this story is, especially for queer viewers, in terms of being seen, being heard, and being represented. And honestly, even that approach on its own already feels like a signal that Season 5 is going to feel more emotional and deeper than the previous seasons. I think the most striking thing here is this. Bridgerton is not just introducing a new couple this season. It is also placing a much more distinct, much more delicate, and much more layered romantic journey at the center of its story. Francesca and Michaela are no longer just part of a side story. They are going to be the heart, the emotion, and the full emotional weight of this season. Number 2. How Season 5's story will begin. According to the official information shared by Tudum, Season 5 will begin exactly 2 years after the Season 4 finale. That detail is very important, because it takes the story not to the hottest moment of grief, but to a quieter and heavier period where grief has already settled into a person's life. Francesca will have already lost Lord John Stirling, become a widow, and been forced to learn how to live with a huge emptiness in her life. So even before the romance begins, the character will already be carrying serious emotional weight this season. Francesca's story becomes even more interesting here because, according to the official description, she decides to re-enter the marriage market again for more pragmatic reasons. So at first glance, this looks less like a search for great love and more like an attempt to put her life back in order. But then Michaela returns to London, and everything becomes complicated. Because for Francesca, the issue is no longer just doing what makes sense, but understanding where her heart is pulling her. Things are just as intense on Michaela's side. The reason she left in the Season 4 finale was deliberately kept hidden, and Jess Brownell openly says that this will be explained in Season 5. On top of that, Masali Baduza says Michaela will return and be forced to face her own decisions. And that shows us that Michaela is being written not just as an attractive and mysterious character, but also as someone carrying guilt, fear, and repressed emotions. So, basically, the starting point of Season 5 comes from a much more fragile place than a classic Bridgerton love story. On one side, there is a Francesca who has almost lost everything in her life. On the other, there is a Michaela who ran away but is now forced to return. And that is exactly why the opening episodes of this season are expected to feel very strong, very intense, and emotionally very heavy. Number 3. Why this season's tone will feel different from the previous ones. One of the phrases Jess Brownell keeps repeating the most is this. Season 5 will be built entirely around big-time yearning. In other words, the main emotional core of this season will not just be love, but longing, repressed feelings, indecision, fear of intimacy, and irresistible emotional pull. And that immediately pushes Season 5 into a more inward, more delicate, and more emotionally intense romantic atmosphere than the other Bridgerton seasons. Another point the showrunner especially underlines is that this season will focus on queer joy, not queer trauma. And I think that is very important, because the show does not want to tell this story only through pain, repression, or the harshness of society. Of course there will be obstacles in front of the characters, and of course there will be conflict, but at the center there will still be hope, joy, romance, and emotional satisfaction. So Bridgerton is preserving its own spirit while entering a new storytelling space. What the actors have said supports that tone as well. Hannah Dodd says Francesca needs to discover herself this season, because she has spent her life always thinking about what other people expect from her. Michaela, meanwhile, feels like someone who knows exactly who she is, but has lived by hiding that truth from the world. One of them is only just beginning to understand herself, while the other already knows herself but cannot live that truth openly. And when those two different inner worlds collide, it creates a very powerful emotional energy. I think that is exactly what is going to make Season 5 special. This is not just a season about two people falling in love. It is also going to be a season about learning to live with grief, confronting your own identity, stopping the denial of your emotions, and finally accepting what you truly want. And honestly, it feels like Bridgerton is combining its romance with this kind of internal struggle for the first time. Number 4, new characters and official details. The official updates about Season 5 are not limited to the main couple. Tudum also confirmed that 3 new names are joining the cast: Tega Alexander, Jacqueline Boatswain, and Gemma Knight-Jones. These are not random supporting figures added for the sake of it. On the contrary, they are coming in to add new social and emotional layers to Francesca and Michaela's story. So the world of the season is going to expand not only through romance, but also through the relationships surrounding it. The character of Christopher Anderson, who will be played by Tega Alexander, stands out in particular. On the surface, he is presented as charming, self-assured, and like a Regency-era Casanova. But according to the official description, the character carries serious insecurity inside. So Christopher may not be just a polished side character. He could become an interesting figure carrying themes like masculinity, performance, and fragility within society. And honestly, the Anderson surname does not feel randomly chosen in the Bridgerton world either. Helen Stirling, played by Jacqueline Boatswain, will enter the story as Michaela's mother. And I think that is very important, because up to now, we have mostly seen Michaela's charismatic and mysterious side. But with her mother entering the picture, her family side, the dynamics she grew up in, and maybe even why she became the person she is, may become much more visible. Lady Elizabeth Ashworth, played by Gemma Knight-Jones, also enters the story as Michaela's old friend and confidant. And that tells us Michaela's social world in London, as well as her inner world, is going to open up much more. Alongside all of that, the fact that filming has officially started, the statements suggesting costumes will play a more important role in character storytelling, and the information that the music will draw inspiration from queer artists already make the overall feeling of the season seem special. So Season 5 is preparing to carry a distinct identity, not only in terms of story, but also in terms of visual and emotional atmosphere. And when we look at all these official details together, it really is not an exaggeration to say that Bridgerton is entering a new era this season. So basically, Bridgerton Season 5 is not just promising a new love story right now. It also looks like it is going to take the series to a completely different place in terms of grief, self-discovery, emotional courage, and representational power. So which official detail about Bridgerton Season 5 are you the most excited about? Do you think this new love story with Francesca and Michaela at the center could give us the most different season the show has had so far? And do you think the relationship between Michaela and Francesca can be written strongly enough on screen to meet expectations? Be sure to write your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy this kind of Bridgerton news, official updates, and series analysis, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. As more official Bridgerton Season 5 details come out, we will keep talking about them here. Take care.